Hey everybody, it's Tanisha with Tanisha's Beauty Supply Store in Chicago Heights, Illinois. I have got to redo one of my videos. How much does it cost to open a beauty supply store in 2025? My video that I posted, y'all, I didn't even realize I posted a draft and not the original. So I want to do it again, and I'm also learning some different techniques with technology like screen recording. So those are some things I'm still learning, but in the meantime, hey, you never stop building your business, never stop posting your videos, never stop posting your content just because you're learning something new. Keep going. So we're going to do a redo on how much does it cost to open a beauty supply store in 2025. The first thing you're going to need are your preliminary documents. That's going to include your local city business licenses. And don't forget, you're going to need your state business licenses as well. Some people make the mistake of thinking if they have their local city licenses, for example, Chicago Heights, if I have a license in Chicago Heights, I'm good. Well, that's not enough. I also needed a license in the state of Illinois. That's another fee. Your EIN number is usually free from the IRS. Your trademark, if you know you're going to go global or national, you're going to want to get that sooner than later. So you're looking at approximately about $1,000 for those preliminary documents. The leasing. So we'll take a sample small beauty supply store and go off of that. We're not going to go with a sample of your medium to large beauty supply stores because most of us who are opening and starting, we are opening small. So we're going to go with those types of samples. Of course, if you're opening a medium to large size beauty supply store, you're going to need more than the money that we're going to talk about. This is a sample of if you were in Michigan with about 1,500 square feet in 2025. Let's say about $2,000 per month for your all-inclusive rent. What they normally want, in my experience in Michigan, is going to be 3 times that. So if you find a space that's $2,000 a month, they're going to want you to come to the table with $6,000. That's going to cover your first month, and it's going to cover your security deposit. Yes. I strongly suggest, based off my experiences of 6 years being in the beauty supply industry, I suggest that you come to the table with at least no less than 4 months rental payments in advance. So instead of coming to the table with a month in advance and then your security deposit, come with 4 months. So let's say if you come with 3 or 4 months, let's say you need to come with $10,000 when it comes to the area of leasing. So I'll write down what we have so far. We have $1,000 for our preliminary documents. We have $10,000 for our leasing documents. So let's keep going. Preliminary fees like your electric, gas, phone, internet. Let's estimate you need about $600 for your electric, because what I want you to do is have the goal of paying ahead, because when you first open your store, you've got to get branded, you've got to get known, and you're going to have to survive through those slow months, or else you can be out of business before you even really get into business. So let's say you send the electric company $600 to carry you through for a little while. Gas, let's say $200. Phone, let's say you start off with $200. Internet, let's say you start off with $400. Point of sale system is around $2,000 right now. The supplies you will need for your stickers, your bags, and other supplies you'll need, let's say around $2,000 just to get started. Equipment and furniture, your fixtures, let's say $10,000. So the fees that I'm giving you, business bosses, are fees just to get you started. You're going to continue to have to feed your business. So I don't want people to look at this video as, no, you need more than that, you need more than that. Just keep in mind, you want to just get your doors open. And let's go with these figures as if you're going to continue to feed your business every week. We're at about $15,400. Here's a tip. There are many ways to offset some of these costs. You can subscribe to Tanisha's Beauty Supply, and you can learn creative ways to save costs, to get some of these items without spending top dollar. So $15,400 is where we are. Here's your largest cost, everybody, your inventory. Your inventory cost is going to be at least $50,000. And that's only with the idea that you're going to keep stocking your store every week or every other week. Now, if you plan to just stock your store and you want to let that inventory roll for 3 or 4 months while your business builds and you want to have everything you need to fill up that store, then you're going to want to double that amount or even triple if you have a big store. But if you just want to get started and have a variety of things, then $50,000. I would also suggest that you don't buy all your inventory at once, that you do buy smaller amounts at first, because you don't even know what your customers are going to go for, what they're going to ask for. So you don't want to spend $20,000 on a brand of braiding hair and find out that that's not really popular, or that the trend has changed as soon as you stocked your store with the queen bee braiding hair. Now they're into pink lemon. So you don't want to spend too much money at once. I suggest getting smaller amounts just to get started, but a larger variety. If you live close to a wholesale facility, then you can start with even less than $50,000, maybe $40,000. If you live in a state like Idaho, you need to start with as much inventory money as you can, because Idaho is not close to a wholesale facility. If you're close to a wholesale facility, you have the ability to travel every 2 weeks to restock, then you can start with a lower amount of inventory money. So $50,000. Marketing. You're going to need social media, paid ads, postcard mailings. Set aside about $3,000 for that. You have to advertise even before you get open. As soon as you sign your name on that lease, I say start advertising, because you have your location. So start your social media ads right away. Let people look forward to your space opening. One thing I notice when people open businesses, they like to cover the windows and nobody knows what's happening until they have a grand opening. So when you're opening a beauty supply store, I want you to get a large temporary sign all across the windows in several places, letting people know Lisa's Beauty Supply is coming soon. You need that advertisement so that when you open, it's not so difficult to get customers. You need people to know you're coming. Space renovation. When you search for your space, I don't want you to search for a space that needs a lot of work. It's going to tank your budget. You need all of your money, as much as possible, to go toward inventory, money that's going to make you money, not making the space decked out with marble floors and all kinds of expensive fixtures. You don't even know if the space is going to work for you. That happens all the time. I had a space that didn't work for me, and I'm so glad I never changed the ugly carpeting in there. I never changed the walls. I only added my slat wall. I never did anything in that building that I couldn't take with me. The only thing I left in that building was an alarm system. And that was because it wasn't practical to take it, because it wasn't going to work anywhere else. Other than that, what I brought in, I took out. So you don't want to improve upon someone else's property if you don't own the property. Spend your money on inventory, and then you can do the floors later. You can use rugs to cover everything until you get the money to do the improvements. But don't improve someone else's property and you don't even know if that space is going to work for you. So $5,000 for your space renovation. Here's an important area here: employee wages. If you have to use employees to open your business, you need at least, in my opinion, and all of this is based on my experience and my opinion, not an expert, consult your attorney for any kind of legal issues. But you need at least 4 months of wages set aside. So let's project that minimum wage in most places at about $16,000 set aside for employee wages. Cash flow. This is not dedicated to anything but just starting your cash flow, but you're going to be adding to your cash flow as you go. So let's say $5,000. So the total for your marketing, $3,000, space renovation, $5,000, employee wages, $16,000, cash flow, $5,000. That's going to add up to $29,000. You can lower or raise these amounts depending on how much of a risk you're willing to take. I say take the lowest risk. $29,000. And we're almost done. Make sure you subscribe to Tanisha's Beauty Supply. I have over 100 videos of content, knowledge. I also offer beauty supply classes. We have some beauty supply classes coming up. If you want to talk to me directly, you're in the middle or you're just beginning and you're going to open your beauty supply store soon and you want to avoid some pitfalls, my beauty supply classes are under $100. So you can go to my website, www.tanishasbeautysupply.com, and sign up for a beauty supply class. If you just want to talk to me directly, you don't have to wait for a class. You could go ahead and book a coaching one-to-one session. They are also currently under $100. TanishasBeautySupply.com. Your building sign. Your signs can range from hundreds of dollars on the low end to thousands of dollars. Be sure to check. Here's the key. Be sure to check with the city before you pay for a sign. Because if you buy a sign and you install it and the city has not approved it, they can require you to take it down. It doesn't matter how much money you pay, they don't care. They can require you to remove the sign. In the space that I was in Michigan, I had paid $10,000 for one sign. That sign was fine. I got it approved first. Professional companies will tell you do need to get the sign approved, but even if they don't, just know you have to go to the city and get it approved. The other sign, I put another sign on the building because the building had like a curb and you could see the sign on one coming from one direction of traffic, but you couldn't see coming from the other direction of traffic what the space was. So I added like an $800 sign just so people can know. The city let me know that I needed to remove that sign because you can only have one sign on the building. Well, I was able to appeal it and let them know, hey, I'm on a corner, so technically I can have two signs. So I was able to keep my $800 sign, but make sure you check with your city, get the approval. There is a cost to filing the application. Get the approval before you install your sign if you don't want to have to take it down. So let's say you're going to go in the middle. You're not going to go on the cheaper side. You're not going to go on the more expensive side. So let's say $5,000 for your sign. Now you have paid for almost everything you vitally have to open your beauty supply store. And now let's add up what your total is for your beauty supply store cost. Okay, business bosses. So you have your $1,000 for your preliminary documents. You have your $10,000 for your leasing. You have your $15,400 for supplies and utilities and services. And you have your $50,000 for your inventory startup. You have your $29,000. And you have your $5,000. We are at $110,400, everybody. If you want to go in and open a small beauty supply store with a solid start, plan to have at least $110,000. Definitely, it can be more than that. It can be less than that. I opened my store with $9,000, but I have videos in Tanisha's Beauty Supply YouTube that explain how you can do that. A solid store in an area where foot traffic is, planned for about $110,400. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I want to hear from you when you plan to open your beauty supply store. What stage are you in opening your beauty supply store? And thank you for watching my video and allowing me to redo this video. And I'm going to continue to redo how much it costs because there's things that are changing in our country, in our world that continue to change this number. The first video I did was years ago. It was before COVID ever hit. And that figure was a lot different than the second video. So then we're going to continue to do videos to keep you current on how much it costs to open a beauty supply store. If you would like to shop beauty supply products, if you would like to shop wigs, hair, go to TanishasBeautySupply.com and you can have these items shipped right out to you.
Tanisha's Beauty Supply, beauty, power and style, power and style. Tanisha's Beauty Supply, beauty, power and style, power and style. Got whatever you need.